TTT THROWDOWN!
This week's throwdown is for time. 100 calories on the rower for the guys, 80 for the girls, 100 thrusters. Every time you break on those thrusters, you have a 10/8 calorie penalty.
Our demo athletes this week are Stephen O'Brien and Jeremy McGinney.
Hi, I'm Stephen, doing the throwdown workout, the rowing, the thrusters. Strategy for me, both movements are relatively strong for me, especially the rower. So I'm kind of going to pace it like it's I guess more of like a 2K pace, or slightly slower than 2K. So I'd say I'm going to try to pull between 1,600 and 1,800 calories per hour. And then for the thrusters, my goal is, I guess, just go based on feel. But I don't plan on breaking it up at all or dropping the bar. But if I do, I'll go based on feel, just maybe break it up one time. But again, going to see how everything ends up playing it.
Oh, Steven.
I am so excited
Wow.
to see what
This
happens.
got me on the edge of my seat
That
now.
is so ballsy.
I mean,
If he goes-
looking
if
at
he-
this, that was a thought that crossed my mind.
If
But
he
I don't
does
think it's gonna
that,
happen.
I feel like we need to send him a present.
Yeah, he can get the fish hat that still exists on this.
Fish hat.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. The dream.
But yeah, I think he's got a good kind of target here of, I definitely know James Sturgeon client, and I know he's very strong on the rower and is very comfortable there. So him saying he's going to go out at around a 16 to 1800 is very fast to be able to sustain, where I think you got to be able to transition pretty quick. So yeah, I'm excited. Wow.
Let's see how this goes.
345.
Yeah, man, I'm
That
on the
was
edge
hard here.
of my seat.
This
do-
does keep you on the
Wait.
edge of your seat.
I do think what he said
Look at
about
that
going around like a
transition.
2K pace or just slower is probably good for most people. If you're going to struggle on the thrusters, though, you're going to have to back down a little bit so you can actually sustain and move and transition to the thruster right away.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple ways to look at this, right? You can go big AMRAP set, kind of what his game plan is. You can go more of a planned break rest period, where if you're going to do sets of just say 10, right? 10 sets of 10 with just adding another 100 cal row, which seems like a lot, but
That is a lot.
I
Yeah,
think-
I think 10 sets of 10, probably not.
probably not, or
Yeah.
make some
If you
adjustments.
have to do 10 sets of 10 here, you probably need to lower the weight.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So if you were doing this, what would you do? What would be your strategy on the thruster?
Yeah, I would try to hold like 15 to 20. I don't know like how repeatable that is for me, but that would be my game plan. Like try to get to 20, so I'm doing 5 sets, and then take the row like really, really easy so that I can actually sustain the thrusters.
But what do you think your buy-in of the 100 cal would be?
I would row probably slower than 1,200 cals per hour. So did like
Right around five,
5.5, 6 minutes, something like
Minutes
that.
on the rower.
Yep.
Mia?
I would probably be in the like mid 900s on the row, which gets you about 15, maybe 16 cals a minute.
So roughly pretty close to the same time. Yeah.
Because it's 80 cals for the girls.
So Jeremy just got off. He probably rode just slower than 1,200 there,
Yeah. Or started at above that.
and then just kind of backed off his pace, which I also think is a good idea. Like start a little faster,
Oh,
and then kind of back down
That
over
wasn't
the.
anywhere near unbroken.
He didn't do it. He didn't do it.
Well, he said he might take one break.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I
that
mean,
was
I
one.
think he's still got a long chunk left to be able to hold another second set unbroken. I think, right, like two ways you could also do it, or another way to do it would be descending rep. So whether you want to start with a bigger set, but not to true failure, whether that's 30 or 35, something that you know you can kind of do fairly comfortable. I think almost with a wall ball. To me, when I see a 75-pound thruster, I think of a 30-pound wall ball. And it's like, all right, what can I kind of do, but it's going to make me uncomfortable? I think if you went 30 to 40, did your 10 cal row, another 25 to 20-ish, somewhere in there. So you could, I think, get this in 3 sets if you kind of are more comfortable and really comfortable squatting that for that many.
Yeah, I think descending sets is smart here because obviously the fatigue is going to accumulate, and a thruster can be hard to stay linear. Like that bar is going to start feeling heavier and heavier, and your squat is going to get slower and slower. So I think trying to plan descending sets where you open with like maybe like an AMRAP minus like 5 to 8, where you feel like if you pushed 5 to 8 more reps, you'd be like at max effort. You want to stay a little behind that and then crawl through the row. What I would do for the row is I would row well. And what I mean is like full long pulls, good mechanics throughout, but I wouldn't put a ton of like oomph into it and kind of think of that as the rest. I'd also probably knock the damper down for my, or I guess it's 8 cals for me, just to make it more recoverable.
Would you change anything with your squat pattern and speed of thruster than what you normally would do?
For me, no, but I'm not a super fast squatter, and for me to try to squat fast is just takes too much out of me. I can definitely see how someone who is more or is smoother in a squat pattern, like maybe Kyle, starting a little bit faster and then letting it slow down as you go.
Yeah, I think I would probably try to just keep my cycle rate a little bit higher, especially like off the initial set coming into the thrusters. And then as the fatigue builds up and my quads start to get more fatigued and a little bit labored, then deal with like slower squats. But I think if I can turn the bar over a little bit quicker in the beginning, it's going to help just mentally get through the 100 reps.
Yeah.
I was going to say for the row, like in that 10 cals that you have to do when you break the thruster, I would probably look at it as like trying to row strokes per minute instead of trying to row a specific pace. We've done a lot of work like that. So rowing at like a 20 strokes per minute would actually like let me kind of recover, but also just move through and give me a target, something to focus on. It could just be a way for you to mentally stay engaged in the row instead of trying to like rush the row. Although I know it is for time.
Seems like Steve's squatting has actually gotten faster.
Yeah, it's like he'll do like almost like 4 to 5 really fast, then take a couple pauses and then go 4 to 5. I think another thing you could also do, if you feel really uncomfortable in the front rack position, bring the thumb around the bar. I'm a big thumb around the bar on lighter thrusters where I don't hold the full, like almost like hook grip all the way around where the thumb comes under, and it allows the position. And I feel like just lets me keep a better cadence with breathing, and then just pressing into the bar doesn't feel as much stress in the front rack. So something to play around with when you're warming up that I know I even tell a lot of the members when it's a lighter barbell like this, it's not like it's a 135 bar where you're like really hanging on and pressing hard. So something to think about when you're going into these 100.
Both Steven and Jeremy have been transitioning pretty quickly into the thruster. I wonder if someone took a strategy where they did their row or the row in the break and took like a longer set or a longer rest before picking up the thruster. And or would that kind of just like be
sometimes
a wash?
I think it's just going to get really hard no matter what, right? Like even if you take that 25-second rest, I think you're looking at maybe 4 more, 5 more potentially. But that does start to add up over now. I think he's probably into his 4th set now. I think getting into this, maybe 5th set.
Yeah, I think so. Well, I mean, what do you think about this? It's almost 10 minutes, right? He got off the rower sub 4 minutes. Do you think if he would have slowed his row down, maybe he could have held bigger sets? And is that like kind of like a warning to some people who thought they were going to go out at like that 2K pace?
I would say yes. I mean, you're not winning anything on the 100 cals at the beginning. Right. I'm somebody that always likes to go out really hot and aggressive. I've been known to do that a couple times, but
nice.
I think
10:05.
10:05. So really solid. But I think even if he went like a 4:15, so another 30 seconds slower kind of than what he did, I think he could have held on for bigger sets at the beginning. I mean, he still was rowing pretty hard, that he's hitting 28 cals a minute is what he pretty much started off with, which is moving.
His thruster speed on his first set was significantly slower than the other sets. It seemed like he almost like at least recovered from that first row as he went. So I agree, if he pulled back on that pace a little bit, you're not going to lose a ton on that or gain a ton on that first row, but you can lose a lot if you push it too hard.
Yeah, I mean, even if you rode a little harder in those 10 cals, you made up all of that.
For sure.
Versus the beginning, trying to go into the 100 that way. So I would say if you are doing this, be more conservative on the front half.
Yeah, I was going to say, what do you think a target pace is for most people then, if they're trying to like game this?
I would probably say anywhere from, for guys, probably around the 5 to 5:10 range, 15 range, I would think for most. So 20 a minute, right?
Yeah.
20
so,
a
that's
minute
like a 1200.
I think that's probably like a conservative, like, hey, and then hop off and be able to go into a big set, to me would be an appropriate target that's not going to redline you and do that. If you're holding 1200 and it's going to redline you, of course, drop that back down.
Yeah.
Is Jeremy still going? Yep.
Yeah, he's still going here.
All right, hopping back on. Come on, Jeremy. But I think this is also something to note is his transition here is like 12 to 15 seconds right now of hopping onto the row. So that definitely is going to add up.
Yeah. What do you like? Obviously, he's being a little slower. He's probably really fatigued at this point, but he's obviously being a little slower to get to his working pace and work through these calories. Do you think there is something to be said about transitioning and getting the rower up to whatever is your working pace for this time? Or is it kind of okay to be slow and like, start at 300, 500, 700, 800 cals per hour, and then just take that really easy so that you can transition back to the thruster?
I think you just have to choose one or the other. So you're either going to row really slow, but start rowing immediately and get immediately onto the thruster, or you can transition a little slower, row harder, and then take a little break into the thrusters, but you can't do both.
Yeah.
So
I would rather get the rower up a little bit and
get
then
it over
settle
with
in
and then take a break. That's
and
what
then
I
take
would
a break
prefer
before
as
the
well.
thruster.
Yeah.
I agree.
I think starting slow and just getting in, it also takes you like 8 to 10 seconds to get that first cal, and it's almost like demoralizing when you're like, I'm still not at 1.
Yep.
Where if you can just get the pace up, settle in, then you can go for it from there. Come on, Jeremy.
There we
Final
go.
set. This workout, it's called This Is Terrifying, and it is terrifying.
I think that's a great name for this. What was terrifying was listening to Steven's game plan at the beginning, which it made me terrified. But
Terrified. I was excited. I was like,
I really
he's going
was.
to go for it.
Travel, you do this. I want to see.
I would do it.
Just do
Yeah.
one set. See how far you get. Then you can stop.
I think
if you
I
want.
could get pretty. I would definitely not row a sub 4 minute by any means. I think I would try to stay around a 4:30 or 4:45, almost like a minute, probably slower than what he did. But I think I could be pretty close to 2 sets. I think I could get close to around 60, and then from there, who knows what's going to happen, or a full implosion on the back half of 40.
Jeremy's rep speed is still looking really good. He's just taking a decent amount of time to transition from one implement to the other. I think if you're going to be like Jeremy and take a bunch of breaks here, I think what we said, like try to transition either to the rower quicker or slow the row down and then transition to your barbell, so you're not taking rest on both sides of the movements.
Yeah, if you're doing a lot of sets on thrusters and that makes more sense for you, then you probably need to think of this workout as like rounds for time of thrusters and rowing, where someone like Steven, who was pushing really big sets, he can look at the row more like, all right, this is my rest break because I am trying to dig into deep sets. But if that doesn't make sense for you, if you know that you can't do big sets of thrusters, and you could look at this as like, this is rounds for time of 15 thrusters, 10 cal row, and find a sustainable pace that you could hold there. I think that would be a better approach than
AMRAP sets.
if that doesn't make sense for you. But like the rower can't be super slow if you're not doing big sets on thrusters, if you want a good score in the workout.
Yeah.
I would agree. I like that game plan.
Yeah. He's still moving really well though. Like his bar speed and rep speed looks really solid here.
And I think this is one of those workouts that it's almost just a gut check. And mentally, when you see thrusters, you're like, oh, thrusters. But knowing it's only 75 pounds, I think gives you that kind of like daunting task of like, how much more can I do? Like you look at him right now and you're like, you got another 25 in you, where internally he's probably like, get this over with. I do not have 25 left in me.
This is a strong push at the end.
Way to go.
Nice.
Finish it up. But
Nice
I think
work.
sometimes you just got to really try to hang on. Even if you can get 2 or 3 more per set, it's going to knock out a lot more at the end.
For sure.
Good luck.
All right.